The day did not begin with a crisis. It began on schedule, a weekday morning, rush hour forming, millions preparing to leave at once. Then the rhythm broke. Not suddenly, not loudly, just enough for people to notice that timing no longer worked. Connections failed, arrivals slipped, movement lost coordination. By the time anyone tried to explain it, Britain had not stopped functioning. It had lost its rhythm. At first, it felt local. One station, one route, one delay that would be fixed. People waited. They checked the boards again. They checked their watches. Then the pattern appeared. The same gaps, the same silence, across different cities at the same time. By late morning, it was no longer a delay. It was coordination failing everywhere at once. Millions were ready to move. Nothing was ready to carry them. That was the moment Britain understood this wasn't disruption. It was scale. Movement wasn't a convenience. It was the system. Food didn't wait in storage. Medicine wasn't kept in reserve. Workers didn't live next to machines. Everything arrived when it was needed. And only when it was needed. Shops opened because deliveries came overnight. Hospitals functioned because staff could change shifts. Factories worked because people could reach them. Remove movement, and none of that existed. Not later, not eventually, immediately. Britain wasn't built to pause. It was built to move. The failure didn't spread evenly. It followed dependency. Trains stopped first. Schedules collapsed. Platforms filled, but nothing arrived. Buses were pulled from routes. Drivers were ready. Fuel and coordination were not. Lorries stayed in depots. Ports slowed. Containers waited without drivers to move them. And because everything depended on transport, each stoppage created another. Not confusion, not chaos, a sequence. Movement failed in layers, and each layer pulled the next one down. This wasn't collapse, and it wasn't control. It was coordination stretched past its limit. Too many systems depended on movement. Too few were designed to pause. Schedules assumed continuity. Deliveries assumed precision. Decisions assumed there would always be time. There wasn't. Nothing failed dramatically. Nothing broke at once. But once movement slipped, every system discovered it had been built without waiting in mind. Britain wasn't breaking apart. It was running out of margin. Cities felt the loss immediately. Offices opened, but desks stayed empty. Meetings began without the people meant to attend them. Factories slowed. Some never started their shifts at all. Shops unlocked their doors, then waited for deliveries that didn't come. Nothing was shut down. Nothing was officially closed. But the rhythm that made cities work was gone. And without rhythm, everything felt slightly wrong. People adapted faster than the system around them. They walked. They waited. They took routes they had never needed before. Journeys grew longer. Days stretched. Some turned back halfway, not defeated, just exhausted. Others kept going because stopping meant staying nowhere. Movement didn't disappear. It changed. Slower, more deliberate, more costly. By then, control was being attempted. Emergency meetings, rewritten priorities, maps redrawn in real time. Fuel was redirected. Essential services were protected. But complex systems don't respond cleanly to commands. Every intervention solved one problem and exposed another. Control existed in plans. Reality moved at its own speed. The system wasn't disobedient. It was overloaded. Movement returned carefully. One route reopened. A single train moved through the system, slow and uncertain. Then another followed. Not normal service, not confidence, just proof that motion was still possible. Cities didn't rush back to life. They hesitated. Because everyone understood now how easily movement could be lost. We imagine collapse as something loud. Sirens, crowds, noise. But modern systems don't fail that way. They slow down. They lose rhythm. They stop arriving on time. Deliveries come late. Then they don't come at all. Schedules stop meaning anything. Nothing explodes. No single moment announces failure. Life continues, but it continues with friction. Distances grow longer. Waiting replaces movement. Delay replaces certainty. Britain didn't collapse, it paused. And that pause revealed something important. The country wasn't held together by strength. It was held together by motion, by the assumption that everything would keep moving and that nothing would ever need to wait. When movement failed, the assumptions failed with it. What broke wasn't transport alone. It was confidence in the system behind it. Britain adapted. People walked, they waited, they planned differently. That adaptation hid the failure. It made the pause look temporary. But pauses leave marks. They show what cannot stop. They show how little margin exists. And they leave a warning. A country doesn't need chaos to fail. It doesn't need enemies at the gates. It doesn't need explosions or panic. Sometimes, all it needs is nowhere to go.